Well, David Tepper has to make up the money he lost from throwing that drink on the fan in the Jaguars game somehow. Welcome, everybody, to JG9 News, where we talk all things NFL all the time. I'm Jared and I representing the 904 from the 602. And today, we are talking about the Carolina Panthers, the worst team in football last season, 2-15 record, and they don't even have the number one pick to show for it, seeing as they traded that to the Chicago Bears in that Bryce Young trade that looks worse and worse by the day. And despite their horrible record and their horrible performance, they have decided to increase ticket prices for the 2024 season. This year, a report from the Associated Press, it says the Carolina Panthers are raising overall ticket prices by slightly more than 4% in 2024, following a season in which they finished with an NFL worst 2-15 record and were shut out in the final two games. The spokesman continues saying the lower level seating at Bank of America Stadium will see the most significant impact, with season ticket prices increasing by an average of 7% from last year for permanent seat license owners or PSL owners, and the upper level seating blended increase of less than 1%, 90% of those prices staying flat. But if you look at the numbers, a 4% increase. People are outraged about this. I mean, they are livid about this. You see a lot of articles out there, Pro Football Talk, despite NFL's worst record, Panthers raised ticket prices by 4%. You see the Daily Mail saying NFL's worst team raises ticket prices. You also see on Queen City News, Panther fans will pay more for ticket prices in 2024 following disappointing season. So you can definitely see the framing here. You can definitely see what a lot of people are trying to go for here. David Tepper, a horrible owner, raising prices after a bad season. How could he? How could he possibly do this? This is so bad for Panthers fans. And look, I am not defending David Tepper in the slightest bit. I want to make that very clear. This is not a defense of David Tepper whatsoever. I have long said that he is the worst owner in football. He has not done a single thing right since taking over as the owner of the Carolina Panthers. Not a single thing. The Rock Hill deal, which fell through, that was shambolic. He should have been punished way more harshly for the incident in Jacksonville. I think his punishment was way too light. The fact that you can throw a drink on a fan and not really get reprimanded all that much, I mean, it's pocket change. You want to make sure fans are safe and in a comfortable environment. You want to make sure they go to the games. Well, in order to just throw a drink on a fan and get no punishment, no reprimanding whatsoever for something that a fan could do and will get banned for life, I think it's horrible. So this is not offensive David Tepper. But this is such a non-story. I don't know how it got to this point. The Panthers' prices, on average, are increasing by 4%. You want to know what the rate of inflation was in 2023? 4.1%. 4.1% inflation in 2023. The Panthers' prices are about the same, if not lower than the rate of inflation from 2023. They changed the prices to account for inflation. That's how businesses work. That's basic economics. Unless you're Costco with the hot dog, $1 last year is not the same as $1 this year. Businesses have to adjust. It's why prices go up everywhere across the board. It's not a matter of the team screwing over the fans or anything like that. This is just David Tepper not being greedy, just accounting for inflation. You want to know how many NFL teams are increasing ticket prices for 2024 to account for inflation, no matter how good or bad they were? 93%. 93% of NFL teams are raising the prices. It's a common practice around the league, but the Panthers are getting bashed for this? I know they were doing 15 last year, but come on, they're getting bashed for this? Look at Washington. Look at the Commanders. They have the second worst record in football last year. They play in a dump of a venue. I'm not crazy about Bank of America Stadium. I've been there before. It's fine. It's nothing special. It's more of a concrete jungle. But compared to FedEx Field, it might as well be SoFi Stadium. FedEx Field is a dump of venue. They might not even make any more renovations on, since there's no point if you're trying to get a new stadium there. Ticket prices for Washington in 2024 are going up an average of 8.9%. That is more than double the rate of inflation in 2023. They're going up 8.9%. New England, the third worst record in football last year. They've increased prices drastically from 2023 to 2024. Pats fans are getting screwed over. The average price increase from 2023 to 24 for what many fans consider to be the worst team in football on paper right now? Over 11%. Here's the seating chart comparison from 2023 versus 2024 if you want to buy season tickets at Gillette Stadium. We look at the lower level midfield, those are the prime seats. In 2023, those season tickets cost you $2,101.50. This year, 2024, $2,335. That's way more than 4% inflation. Lower level sideline, $1,930.50 in 2023. That's up to $2,145 in 2024. Lower level midfield, the 50-yard line seat in 2023 costs more than a lower level sideline seat if you're at the 5-yard line. That's insane. Lower level corner end zone, $1,530 in 2023, $1,700 in 2024. Mezzanine level corner, $1,386 as a season ticket in 2023. This year it's going to run you $1,540. Upper level, $958.50. This year, over $1,000. Upper level corner, $801 in 2023, $890 in 2024. At least the Panthers are staying flat in the upper level. Gillette Stadium, it's an increase across the board. I might be saying, wait a sec, isn't that a bit misleading? The Patriots had an international home game last year, so they had one less home game. That's not true. The Pats had 9 home games on the schedule in 2023. Since in odd number years, the AFC gets one more. So even though they played that game in Germany against the Indianapolis Colts, which they lost and looked terrible in, they still played 8 home games in New England, the same as they'll play in 2024. And the prices across the board, every single section's gone up over 11% for one of the worst teams in football. No complaints about that from the general public. And yet we're all complaining about the Panthers adjusting prices below the rate of inflation. Again, I am not defending David Tepper. I think he's a horrible owner. If it were up to me, he would not be an owner in the NFL. Panthers fans deserve better. But this is such a non-story that I had to talk about it because I couldn't believe the outrage that people were making about this. Yes, the Panthers stunk last year. Yes, they're not a good team whatsoever. But no, raising prices to account for the rate of inflation is not a big deal in the slightest bit. It is a complete non-story. It's basic economics. It's how every NFL team operates, and other teams are doing it worse. I know the defensive, well, other people did it worse. That doesn't mean you have to do it too. I know you can't get out of a speeding ticket by saying, oh, I know I was going 80 and a 55, but that car was going 90. You can't use that. But at the same time, this is a complete non-story, and it's ridiculous. But what are your thoughts? Do you think the Panthers' price increase makes sense for 2024? Do you agree with what Tepper did here? Do you think Tepper is a good owner? Do you think he's a bad owner? Do you think he's the worst owner in football like I do? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And that's going to do for this episode of JG9 News. Be sure you like and subscribe. It helps the channel out a lot. And be sure to check my main channel, Jaguar9, where we talk all things NFL history all the time. Until next time, this is Jaguar9 signing off. And as always, go Jags.